What's going on, guys? I hope you're having a very nice day. Tuesday, it's the start of the week. I thought I'd show you a very small update, a very short video with an update on this little pine that we work with. A couple of months ago. I think it was like a month and a half ago. And I show you this in the last video, but it was very brief. It was a very brief update, so I thought I'd show you in a different video a little bit of what I'm doing and how it's developed in this past few months, maybe month and a half, I don't know. Well, the last time that we saw this little pine, we performed a little pruning session to develop back budding, and we can see that we've been very successful, right? You can see that it's growing nicely. Now we've got tons of new little shoots that we can choose. And that's precisely what we're going to do during the fall, right? We can see that it's growing very, very well. And I'm very happy about this. You know, this is a type of pine that grows in the mountains. And I'm living near the shore, near sea level. So it's very exciting to have this kind of pines growing very nicely where I live. When I was very little, they used to say, oh no, pines, they don't grow here. You could never grow a pine. So as you can see, if you do a little bit of research and you take care of your plants, it will do very well. So what we're going to do during this, the fall is, you know, choose the little shoots that we want and discard the others so we can, you know, continue to develop the shape. This is one of the possible fronts that we have. We can see that movement, and that's very nice there. And this is another one right here. Again, we can see nice movement. It's all going to depend on the branch and how well it develops in a couple of years, right? So this is something that we can do with single flush pines. Those are pines that put out a solid set of candles in a year, right? There are some other pines that are more vigorous, like the Japanese black pine, where we can, you know, decandle and then, you know, plug the needles. We can do very heavy operations, and it's like nothing for the black pine, but these are a bit more delicate, especially if you're growing them in a zone that it's not their common grounds. Or not their natural habitat. We can see that we have to do a little bit of weeding here. I'm going to do that right now just so you can see. Sorry about the camera. But there we go. So I'm not going to pull the entire thing. I'm just going to nip this in the roots just so that we don't disturb the pine. Right. And we can make sure in this way that it's not gonna grow back super long. Yeah, so as you can see, it's growing nicely. There's another thing that I want to show you. I also showed you that in the previous video, but this is a couple of grafts that I performed in this little pine about a month ago. I was watching the pictures yesterday that I took when I performed this, and yeah, it's been about a month. About a month ago, I performed these little grafts, and what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna open one of these little bags and show you what's inside. And I'm really excited about this because they seem to have taken. They seem to have fused very well with the mother plant. And we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to pause the video, open this little bag, and I'm going to show you what's inside. Okay, so the bag's open now. So if we take a look inside, we can see, well, I don't know if you can see, let me just rotate this. There we go. You can see that the needles are still green and that we got new needles coming out of that little candle right there.
So I'm hopeful for this little graft. It seems to have survived very well, despite the fact that we've been having very, very hot temperatures where I live. So I'm very happy about this. The other one is exactly the same. The needles are green. They look very, very well. That little candle at the tip is pushing out new growth. Of course, that is something that pines do naturally. When you cut a little candle, if you keep it moist, it would look like it's alive for many, many days, actually. So it could be, it's still a possibility that this is not completely successful yet, but at least I'm hopeful. Now, what I did is I put a little bit of sphagnum moss inside to keep the moisture. What some people do is that they wrap the little scion in grafting tape. They wrap it like, like a little bundle, and that keeps the little scion covered and keeps the moisture inside, and that's very good. But I decided to perform it in this way because there's a video floating around in YouTube of how to take care of Japanese white pines or something like that, and they show you how to perform a graft. So this is the Japanese version of the graft, and I decided to do it in that way. And as we can see, well, it's looking good. So there we go. We use one of those little things, you know me. We use one of those little things to keep the bag in place, to keep the moisture sealed, and that's looking good. There's another one right here. Same story. You can see. Oh, we can actually see it through the plastic. Maybe you can see that little candle at the tip, and we can see the new needles that are being pushed out. Right. So it's nice. I'm actually going to give you the link for that video because it's really interesting, and it's like I said, it's a Japanese video. It's overdubbed, but it's very good. It's excellent. So one last thing that we can see, it's that it's growing very nicely, and because it's growing nicely, and therefore it's it started to develop this little trunk. It's considerable in size now. In the future, what we're going to do with this little branch is we're going to give it a little bit of movement by wiring it, by applying raffia, and by bending it so it looks more natural. And I was saying that it's getting a nice little trunk because we've also been growing this sacrificial apex in the back, that it's just growing and growing. You can see the little candles there still developing. So it's nice, you guys. Growing in a container, lots of drainage. It was originally growing in a colander, but I slip transplanted it into this bigger container just so we could vigorize it for this growing season. Growing season. As you can see here, organic fertilizer. I've also applied chemical salts. So organic and chemical fertilizer, and we're getting there, right? Little by little. The journey is a destination, as they say. And like I said before, they said that you couldn't grow pines in the coast. Well, yeah, you can. If you do a little bit of research, if you take care of your plants, you can do anything. Like Bob Ross used to say. Okay, guys, so talking about slip transplants, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you another plant that I'm going to slip transplant because of the very, very hot temperatures, very hot weather that we've been having lately. So let's go ahead and do that. And right now, this will be all for the pine. Okay, so let's go. And here we have it. Is that little fig tree? It's actually a cutting that I took in the previous video. I showed you another cutting from the same batch this spring. I took these cuttings, and you can see that they're doing very well. But because of very, very hot weathers, and because this is growing in a rather shallow nursery bag, it's been awfully stressed. So it's dropping its leaves. What I'm going to do is transplant this to a new container. This is a container right here. This is a leftover container that I have.
actually had a pine growing there, but it didn't survive because I ordered it online, and it came bare rooted. Who bare roots a pine? Of course, it wasn't going to survive. Luckily, I did manage to get a couple of pines that were bare rooted and still survived. But now I have this left over from the one that didn't survive. So what I'm gonna do is slip transplant this into this little container right here. So here I have bonsai soil. It's not actually bonsai soil, but it has a lot of organic matter. So I put a little bed in, and then what I do, I put the nursery back in and proceed to fill the rest of the container. Now I'm not going to leave the nursery bag in the container. I'm just filling the rest of the container so that we have a very definite idea of the overall volume that the root mass occupies. And that way we won't damage the root mass. We're just gonna literally slip transplant this. Slip this from the nursery bag to the new container. Let's see. I think we're there. We pack it a little bit. Put a little bit of pressure. And now, if we lift this, we have a little mold. That's what we're gonna fill with this root mass. So I'm gonna cut this back, and then I'm gonna place it inside. So check it out. Another reason why it was stressed is because it's now root bound. You know, the roots are very vigorous, and now they reach the lower part of the nursery bag. So like I said, we have our little mold ready. And now we just place this inside, like so. See that? Now it fits nice and snug. Now if we do have a little bit of roots that are a bit exposed, we can go ahead and add a little bit more of soil. That's going to be absolutely no problem for the plants. Right. This is a little trick that I learned from Monty Don. He has this great show. I really like that show. It's called Big Dreams, Small Spaces or something like that. It's on Netflix. And he did this while he was transplanting like a huge tree. And I thought, what a cool idea. And now we've got a little fig tree, all transplanted with minimum root damage, right? There we go. So that's it, you guys. That's it for this video. Hope you're very well. If you have any questions, comments, or anything, just drop them down below. I'll be happy to answer them. We just reached 200 subscribers, and that's amazing. That's great. Thank you so much for your support. I'll keep in touch. I'll keep you updated. More videos coming. I hope you're very well. And of course, I'll see you in the next one.